I love when people are like, you just need to give yourself some grace. Out of all the problems that I've had in my life, never once has not giving myself enough grace charted. Like, it's never made the list, even a little bit, even at all. If anything, the polar antonym might be true. If anything, I might be hoarding grace in bulk. If anything, I might be causing accidentally, of course, a worldwide grace shortage, a grace deficit, if you will. Again, completely unintentionally, it's just kind of what happens. And I choose to view this as a good thing, because if I view it from any other sort of, realistic viewpoint, it could be kind of construed as a negative, and that's not something I have to give myself grace in that sense as well and say, no, it's kind of like meta when you think about the giving myself grace of it all. I have maxed out my grace card. If anyone needs any, I will be selling it, of course, for a little bit of a profit, because I'm nothing if not a businesswoman. So what am I saying?
TBTL.
They are sending shockwaves over the airwaves. They are rude and abusive, but want you to listen to them.
I'm sorry, who are you?
I was asking myself that same question, and I did not like the answer.
He's just a silly little guy. He's like your next door neighbor who has an above ground pool and drinks cheap beer and tells fart jokes, and he drives around in a used car and goes to the rodeo.
This is ludicrous.
I hate not you. I hate not your show. And I gotta make a note to myself to not try and do my ab workout while y'all are doing your show, because I laugh too hard and I can't do my abs.
I feel happy of myself.
Well, all right. Hello, good morning, and welcome everyone to a Thursday edition of TBTL, the show that just might be too beautiful to live. My name is Luke Burbank. I am your host.
Just study it out and you'll see.
Coming to you from the Madrona Hill studio, perched high above the mighty Columbia.
Okay.
We've moved out of the rainy portion of the week, and we're not yet in the sunny part of the week, but we're in the in-between. It's transitioning. We're moving in the right direction, and I'm very excited to be sitting here getting ready to present to you episode 4712 in a collector series.
Let the fun begin.
I'm located in southern Washington, not too far from the greater Portland area. And because the city of Seattle, where I hail from, doesn't have a basketball team, I have for years tried to maybe consider the idea of becoming a Portland Trailblazers fan. In fact, they're in the playoffs right now, and they're playing better than anyone expected. But the problem now seems to be that their new owner, this guy just bought the team for over $4 billion, is very, very, very parsimonious.
I gotta figure out how to make money on this thing. It's simply too good.
He's immediately instituted a number of rules that has the team and the people that work for the team kind of annoyed. He's being called El Cheapo by some in the media. So we'll talk about that today. Also, it's a Thursday, a.k.a. a Blur's Day. So
My birthday today.
we'll do the Blur's Day messages. And we're going to hang out with this guy. He is the longest-running co-bro of the show.
Are you sure? That's what they said on Ask Jeeves.
Maybe best known for his depictions of the tall ships. He's Andrew Walsh. He's joining me right now. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Luke. I say this not to get ahead of ourselves at all. We're going to be disciplined about it. I say this as a more promotion for that story that you just teased. El Cheapo is a great nickname, but I read the part of the article that was above the paywall, and there's another nickname.
Oh, I tried to send you, by the way. I tried to jailbreak it for you.
Oh, maybe you sent an attachment as well. I'm not sure. It's okay. I'm looking forward to hearing the details that I didn't pay for, but there's also, I will say, another nickname that made me chuckle, maybe even more. El Cheapo is a good one. We all will be revealed during the top story segment of TBTL today.
So,
yeah.
You'll never believe what other nickname for the Trailblazers owner cracked Andrew up.
Exactly. I have been interning at the Seattle Times, and they have taught me the fine art
of hiding the pickle.
I thought I had that down, but turns out there's still a lot to learn there.
Yeah. I know this isn't on the show sheet. This is later on in the show sheet, but I need to just, if I can, revel in this for a moment. I also happen to have my emails open here. Since we're doing Blur's Days today, we won't get to the emails. I just want to I want to thank listener David for alerting me to the fact that once again, Andrew, I was way ahead of the curve. Much like you have been in the garbage space, with the junk fees.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Seattle Public Utilities have been charging people.
I thought you were just talking about my performance again, being in the garbage space. I was a little confused. It rang very much like my Thrive review.
You've been a voice in the wilderness.
Yeah.
You've been John the Baptist on this whole issues with Seattle Public Utilities overcharging people for these silly little add-on fees and stuff, and yet someone else has stolen your valor and been written about in the Seattle Times. I have been way ahead of the curve, Andrew, on pointing out that Sasquatch has now become Republican coded.
I saw that somebody sent this in. I started to read the article, and I didn't get all the way through it. I noted that NPR was reporting about the proliferation of the Sasquatch. Do they get into the sort of the politics of it?
They do. It's a Netta Ulaby piece.
Love this.
And the headline is "A Slew of New Bigfoot Sightings on Screen and Off Broadway." It's a general story about, I guess, Bigfoot becoming a thing in the culture. But, and this is the part that listener David zoomed in on and sent me, was that basically midway through the article, Netta talks about the fact that, Bigfoot thrives in a climate of disinformation. Online conspiracy theorists have accused his film, this is a guy who made a documentary, of being AI fiction because it disproves the authenticity of a long-standing piece of evidence. Gone are the days when a hoax could be perpetrated for decades by film footage or a photograph. Let's see here. Landau notes that Bigfoot's current popularity coincided with the rise of President Trump. In 2016, she noticed a lot of pro-Trump bumper stickers right by Bigfoot bumper stickers on trucks in rural Kentucky. I think that Bigfoot does have this appeal in rural white communities, she said, adding that regional variations include, this is the part that I liked, the Florida skunk ape, the wood booger of Virginia,
oh my God,
and the Ohio grassman.
Wait, I need you to
Did you grow up with the Ohio grassman?
Well, I did some business with the Ohio grassman in college. I want you to read that in the voice of who is the serial host? Doesn't she list a bunch of things like the banana hammock?
Yes.
I can't remember what drop.
Well, that's actually, I believe, Dana Chivvis.
Oh, is that Dana Chivvis? Am I thinking of a different drop?
No, you're right. No, you're right. I think it was from Serial.
Oh, okay.
But it was for, I think, again, I was already wrong about one voice today. I thought that it was Scott Baio as Bob Loblaw.
That was off air. That doesn't count. Nobody knew. Nobody knows.
But I'm just saying, I'm in my head about this stuff. I think it's the producer on Serial, Dana Chivvis, listing some of the names that some character that some person that they're sort of profiling in one of their stories, and the various names that this person had, which included
the Miami Meat Tent.
Let's see, the
Weenie Bikini, the Ding-a-ling Sling, the Grape Smuggler,
the Florida skunk ape, the wood booger of Virginia, the Ohio grassman. As you were reading it, that's the voice I heard it in.
Yeah.
There's another good quote while you were looking for the kind of meat of those quotes there. I like this too. There's a general distrust of expertise right now, Landau says, and I think people are really doing their own research, having their own belief systems, and not trusting the scientific establishment.
Just study it out and you'll see.
Yeah, exactly. So that's, I guess, I had not made that particular connection, and I had not even really.
I think you were deeply suspicious of my statement that
no,
you just didn't want to believe. You didn't want to believe it.
I didn't know about it. I wasn't suspicious of it. I really wasn't. I didn't know about it. I am not, and in fact, I wanted to tell you, I've been going through a lot of voicemails. The voice mail machine. What do we call it? The Google Voice, whatever, had really filled up. I got to say, it's not overflowing, it's leaking, or it's not leaking, it's overflowing, actually, is the appropriate way of saying that, and is what I mean here. I'd really fallen behind.
It's not leaking, it's overflowing.
In listening to listeners' voicemails, to which I apologize, or for which I apologize to all of them. But I've been going through the backlog and grabbing some really, really great stories. And we'll play them in coming days and weeks, I think. But we did get one that started by saying, I know you guys believe that back in parking is Republican coded. And the whole thing about that beeping sound that you play was me backing away from your take on that.
But do you still not? But me. Do you still... Is it that you don't agree with me or you don't want the smoke?
No, I don't agree with you. I think that there is a correlation to trucks. I think that there's a reason why people who drive trucks or traditionally drive trucks and then get into a car back up. And I think there's a correlation between Republicans and driving trucks. So I think that you're right about all of that, but I don't think the urge to back up is directly related to Republican coding or MAGA coding or anything like that, because I just see too. In fact, I thought of you the other day. I was in the grocery store parking lot, and it was almost like a parody. Who's the guy who was like, who's the one of our favorite celebs? He plays the doctor in the Portlandia sketch about early onset grumpiness, and he was like the face of electric vehicles. Yes,
Ed. He was also in Arrested Development, by the way.
Oh, yes, he was. Yes, he was.
The guy
the eyebrows.
losing his eyebrows.
Yes, exactly.
Ed Begley Jr.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, I saw.
I'm more of an Ed Begley Senior man myself.
I wanted yeah. He did some great work. Anyway, it was just so funny because he was like this little, he just looked like the typical Seattle little liberal in his tiny little car, and he was backing into no, this was in real life, but he just had this Ed Begley Jr. vibe to him, and I watched him backing in. No, but I just thought of him right away because he's like this little guy in his little car and his little EV or whatever it was. It might not have been an EV, and he was carefully backing into a parking spot. And I'm like, that guy has never voted even centrist in his life. I don't know. So,
but I guess here's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that everyone who backs their car into a parking space is a Republican, but I am saying it is disproportionately practiced by men who I think have conservative leaning tendencies. There are some outliers, including your Ed Begley Jr. sighting, but I am in the words of Steve Malkmus, I'm your fact-checking cuz about conservative America because you might say, unfortunately, live in it. And I just see it. This is why I've been right for years about Sasquatches. And I think you have to take my word seriously I'm a canary in the conservative coal mine. You're out there in liberal Seattle.
Yeah. You're right. I have no connections to conservatism in my life at all. You're absolutely right about that.
But that's a long way away from you.
Can I just say something here about this? This is one of those topics where you don't have to convince me. It's literally okay for us to disagree about this. It's not. When listeners say, you guys, all I'm saying is just say, Luke, your take on this. I'm not upset that we disagree on it. You haven't sold me. You're not going to. I think a whole bunch of people back up. I've heard, every time you say that, we get 10 voicemails from listeners online or from listeners who are leaving voicemails, which I have a backlog of, saying that hey, listen, this is why I do it, and or this is why my dad does it, or my mom does it, or whatever. I just hear from a million people who say, I have no connection to that world at all. I do think that there is a connection between trucks and conservatism, and I think there's a connection between backing in a truck culture, but I don't think it's a straight line. That's okay that you believe it. It's okay that I don't believe it, and I just don't think that it has to be, contentious.
I think it has to be contentious, and I don't believe it. I know it. That's different. I know it in my core as a person. No, I'm with you. I mean, I know that in fact, it's a friend. It's funny. Speaking of Ed Begley Jr.'s, a friend of mine, Spring, her husband is not a MAGA guy and drives a Prius and backs it in. And she was quick to tell me, when she heard me on this, she goes, well, not my husband who drives a Prius and backs it in. So there are certainly outliers. I'm just trying to get some cred on being right about Sasquatches, and I'm trying to expand that to anything else I say about conservative America that you do not instinctively agree. I'm trying to use that as a I don't know what, a character reference on my opinions out here.
Well, the Sasquatch thing, I definitely didn't know about it. And for the record, I wasn't dubious of. You had just told me about it. And then once you mentioned it, and it's not, like you said, it's not exclusive. You see a lot of people kind of co-opting this Sasquatch thing. But what I think I was going to start to say before was, even when you were telling me about it, I was just like, oh, that's an interesting concept that they just kind of grabbed this icon or the symbol and it's now sort of aligned in that way. I don't think, unless I'm forgetting, I don't think I made the connection to this idea of, Sasquatch, what do you call that? Not cryptology, but...
cryptozoology.
Yeah, that idea of, well, you can't believe what they tell you kind of mentality.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of...
I want to mention that the Ohio wood booger is a libertarian.
I know, I mean, they claim to be, although, yeah. like most libertarians, though, lean pro-life, which I think is a conflict
strange.
there. Wait, oh my God. And I don't want to get into this too much because I haven't been following the news all that closely. But I know there was some sort of Maha here. I both hate and love saying that. There was some sort of Kennedy hearing yesterday, right? Was it yesterday,
really?
the day before?
Oh, yeah. I was hearing. I also didn't watch the hearing or zoom in on the news of it, but I do remember hearing him on NPR this morning sounding ridiculous per usual.
Did you
I think it was
hear
that
him
he's
breathing?
eliminating some COVID stuff.
Did you hear him breathing? And I'm looking for this now. Somebody took a clip. He's not even the one talking. I think, some member of Congress is talking and praising him, actually, kind of, I don't know what way. And you never see him, but you hear this for a full 60-second clip, and I'm so sorry I didn't pull it. I didn't know I was going to be bringing it up. You just hear this death rattle into the microphone as he's apparently, sitting, in his seat in this conference.
I mean, that's the irony of this guy.
It is astounding.
He seems both insanely buff and deeply unhealthy and unwell.
Yes.
At the same, let me just read you a couple of RFK Jr. headlines from The Onion, if I could.
Please.
RFK Jr., quote, I am 6 animal penises away from curing cancer. Swollen RFK Jr. warns Americans not eating enough bees.
I'm going to see if can you keep going with this, because I just remembered somebody wrote, and the reason this caught my attention was somebody on Blue Sky wrote, "This is the sound my dishwasher made before we replaced it," and so now I'm searching desperately for dishwasher jokes. So you keep reading those while I look for this sound.
RFK Jr. claims anti-protein extremists left head of lettuce on his doorstep. RFK Jr., quote, time in hot cars helps babies to sweat out toxins.
Oh, that leads
RFK
me to
Jr. questions efficacy of skin. RFK Jr. coughs up pair of jeans. RFK Jr. demonstrates how to remove tapeworm by scooting ass across carpet.
These are all from The Onion, you said, right?
These are all from The Onion.
Yeah.
RFK Jr. recommends drinking anything that comes out of cow.
Oh, God. Yeah.
FDA approves new drug that reverses the effects of Narcan. That's a thinker.
Sorry, I'm also, slightly distracted as I fail to find this damn audio.
Gray-lipped RFK Jr. touts body's natural ability to transmute lead into gold.
More people are talking about the sounds their dishwasher make than I thought on Blue Sky, I'll be honest with you.
Limbless, slippery RFK Jr., quote, becoming an eel is a sign of good health. RFK Jr. promotes natural immunity with invitation to touch his festering sore. RFK Jr. warns mistress that condoms cause autism.
Oh, God, Luke. Oh, God.
Uh-oh. What just happened?
I just typed in the word dishwasher on Blue Sky. Now, at some point, I turned off the parental filters on this.
Uh-oh.
And I'm still looking at it, although I scrolled down a little bit now. I'm just scrolling. I knew that this joke I
seeing
saw.
RFK Jr. nudes or something?
I'm seeing nudes. I'm seeing one of the most upsetting things I've ever seen, which is it has nothing.
Secretary of Health and Human Services.
It's hard to explain, but I'm not doing a search on RFK right now. It'll bring up too much stuff. I'm looking for the quote tweet that made a joke about the sound the dishwasher made. And so because of that, I was looking up sound my dishwasher makes. I didn't find anything other than people complaining about their dishwashers in more frequency than I expected. So then I'm like, while you're reading those off, I just type in the word dishwasher. I'm like, there's not going to be, it's Blue Sky. There's not that many posts. And I'll just scroll and 20 minutes ago, somebody tweeted something and blah, blah, blah. And then I get to 7 hours ago, somebody retweeted or quoted something that says, quote, with one of your best booty pics. And I was suddenly face to face with somebody in their, I would say modest but clean kitchen, bending over their dishwasher.
Oh, no.
And it seems to be an elderly gentleman, and he is completely nude, and his rear I'm seeing. Have you ever been behind a truck? Speaking about Republican coded, what is it, Willamette County or whatever it is you live?
Cowlitz County.
Cowlitz County. Those nuts that hang off the back of trucks. Somebody is just. I am seeing the full bend. I'm just scrolling on Blue Sky trying to do my job, and suddenly I just got confronted with something I've never even seen in the gym locker room before. And I've seen some old men wait a real long time to put their pants on in the locker room. That was truly upsetting. I was not expecting that to just pop in while I'm doing my job.
It was this was the search result from looking for dishwasher content, but it was an older gentleman with an extremely low-hanging set of testicles.
Oh, I don't even know how to compare it, but I've never been presented in this way before, so maybe they're natural and healthy this way. But the reason it came up with dishwasher, I guess, is because shall I read the alt text? Because basically people will create these threads that'll be like, hey, if you're feeling yourself today, post a selfie, and then everybody sort of posts a selfie or whatever. There's all this kind of stuff online. But somebody at some point said, quote this tweet or whatever with one of your best booty pics. And so some people are getting some racy on here, apparently. Yeah. And I'm looking up dishwasher. This fella is bending full over as if getting something off the bottom shelf of his dishwasher. The camera is set back a ways. This must be a tripod situation. And it's just looking straight up and at him, up and at him while he's bent over his dishwasher. Let's read the alt text. Naked man bending over the dishwasher showing his A word. Although my description is probably more.
But what you're focused on is not his A word; it's his other stuff. It's his testicles are what's notable.
I would just say the whole thing. I'm looking straight into the tunnel there.
Echo.
It's rough stuff.
It's not, but it's not the okay. And
I mean, do you want me to send it to you?
No,
I don't
good.
think you do.
I think you've done a great job of describing it. Can we rule out RFK Jr. as the person behind the photo? Because you can't see their face, presumably, right?
You cannot see their face at all. What if I do this?
RFK Jr.
What if I do this? I need you to see this, but I also want to protect you. So here's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I am going to screen cap this, and then I am going to put it into Photoshop. As if I wasn't distracted enough today, I am going to.
I've got more RFK Jr. headlines from The Onion that I can buy you some time with.
Sounds good. And I will try to blur it for you.
Okay. RFK Jr. recommends eating good cancer to kill the bad cancer. RFK Jr. encourages Americans to do their own research about dragons. By the way, speaking of The Onion, I'm actually pretty excited. I'm going to do a TV story on The Onion's takeover of InfoWars.
Good. So ever since you mentioned
I think I'm going to go to Austin with Heidecker.
Oh, nice. I was going to say, ever since you mentioned that on the show, I've been meaning to do more reading into it, and I never did. What's kind of the full story there?
Well, it's working its way through the legal system, and so we're a little. I was texting with our producer, who's going to be working on the story with me, and we're kind of waiting. There's one more. Let me see if I can get to the actual information there. There's let's see here. There's going to be a decision by the court on April 30th, and the Onion folks are hoping that will finalize controls of the InfoWars asset. So we're standing by for that, but the idea is that in May, Ben Collins, who's the owner of The Onion now, and Heidecker, and actually some of the Sandy Hook families are going to go to Austin and kind of get the keys to the InfoWars HQ.
Wow.
And we're going to go down there and we're going to film that happening and we're going to talk to them about it. So
good. That you must be excited
that'll
about
be
that
a big plot line on the show. Yeah, I'm excited about a story for once. RFK Jr. advocates using beef tallow in home birth tubs. How's the blur job going?
I'm also trying to Google how to blur things. I've ruined this show in more ways.
Just send it to me.
No, I'm going to do my best to just kind of blur this. I'm doing a rough blur job.
This is not though, and I hesitate to even bring it up on the show because it's deeply upsetting, and this is a family show.
Yeah.
But this is not a photo. This is not the famous photo of what's known as, I think.
It has nothing to do with goats. Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
No,
okay. Yeah, that's something that one will never get out of their head. I've been unfortunate enough to have had that sent to me by someone, and I can never unsee it.
Because you made it your desktop.
Well, that's part of it.
I can never unsee it.
I can never unsee it because I've printed it out and posted it in various places in the house. You know, if you don't know your history, if you don't know your goatsier, you're doomed to repeat it.
You know, that's a diet technique that I came up with.
Sure is. I put it on the fridge.
I just put it right on the fridge. Okay, this is I don't know how this is possible, but there's a chance I made it more upsetting with the blurring than I did.
No, that'll happen. You know how like they do that thing on Kimmel where they like unnecessarily bleep things and then everything sounds dirty?
I didn't know that, but that's a great bit.
Yeah, okay. So you're sending this to me.
Okay, I'm sending you the blurred version here.
Are you texting or emailing?
So I am texting it to you. So at least I just want you to see sort of the
I've got some other Roku questions.
Yes, exactly. Actually, you know, I heard from somebody who said, I didn't know that about the functionality of Skip to Live on the Roku remote.
Andrew,
I actually needed it.
Andrew, yesterday I skipped to live and I thought of you and my life was forever changed. I mean, I knew that had to be somewhere. Like I knew that I was not doing it the right way, but I just couldn't figure it out. And you saying, oh, no, there's a button, that gave me the courage to actually take an extra 30 seconds and just kind of like boop around on the screen. And I got to skip to live and I was like, oh my God, this is so much better.
Yeah, that's
so much
help.
better. Ah!
Even blurred, that's rough, right?
Just came through.
Imagine that not blurred, my friend.
It looks... The blurred version, what sci-fi movie or television show is this reminding of where people are like either, I don't know if they're time traveling or being erased, or it's sort of vaguely Westworld. I think it's got some Westworld energy.
Are you talking about because of my
because
blurring?
Of the blur?
Yeah.
Because of the blur. The blur is, again, I'm not going to do a side-by-side, but I do think this may be more upsetting than the unblurred version.
I mean, I can send, like you said, you don't want to do the side-by-side. I could send you the original if you wanted, but
By the way,
really
this guy doesn't look that old. He's got young calves. I mean, he looks like he's in his... I feel like he's... Well, because
I didn't have a lot to work with. I've never judged somebody's age from that angle before. I like to be very clear. Like, there's no face. We don't see a face or anything like that.
But I guess I'm not trying to like, I'm not trying to focus on this detail, but like for some reason, when I pictured it like the old weird guy from Family Guy.
The
guy who talks like this and has the sort of whistle voice. Sure. Like somehow, like this is very upsetting, but the fact that he's roughly my age, I can't decide if that makes it more or less upsetting. I also wonder if he knew the photo was being taken. I could see a world in which his wife, first of all, why was this guy nude and doing this particular task? But this photo almost strikes me as, could this be the show pic today?
What do you think? It's already posted.
It's blurred. No, this almost has the look to me of like this guy, for whatever ridiculous reason, was unclothed in his kitchen, was loading the dishwasher, unloading the dishwasher, and his wife was like, I got to take a picture of this. This guy looks ridiculous. As opposed to, again, I have no evidence to this, I'm just speculating here, as opposed to he set up a tripod and took a picture of himself doing this.
Yeah, there's some freaky deaky stuff online. I mean,
I've
clearly
heard.
he posted. I mean, I'm not on it anymore, but he posted it. I think, and it was in a thread of a bunch of people showing themselves in various sexy positions. And again, I'm not scandalized by seeing somebody kind of pose sexily for the camera, male or female, whatever. Like you just see that as you scroll. Sometimes it is what it is. There was something about this particular image, the angle, everything about it. I think
it strikes you as a kink.
It struck me definitely as a kink. Yes, it was something. Also, what do you think of those cabinets? Like that's what I was trying to avoid. Like that.
I'm not really. They're like, it's like a cherry wood shaker. It looks builder grade to me.
It does. It looks like it looks very. And I don't say this, but it looks like kind of landlord quality, kind of
something like that. The other problem now, Andrew, is our text chain, your text chain and mine, was absolutely blessed recently by a video of everything all right.
I thought you were going to say, like, now this is going to live in our texts forever. I thought we were going to do something where you and I are going to delete it maybe together.
Well, the problem is I don't want to delete it because I've also got a video of Lucy in a shopping cart.
Okay.
That's so freaking adorable. And that was the most recent interaction that we had, was this adorable video of your dog riding in a shopping cart at, I guess, PetSmart or something. And that was what was popping up if I went to your text. And now I've got dishwasher E.
Can you delete a text? I thought you could. I thought you could delete a text from without deleting the
See if I
entire.
can.
But
Maybe I
can't.
can.
Maybe
Oh, you know what? I can. But I can. Oh yeah.
Oh
You
yeah.
know what,
Here.
Andrew?
Wait. Here.
I just
can.
deleted it. Yay,
Me too. Delete
we're
this
back.
message. Delete this message. You bet your sweet whatever that is.
You bet your sweet nuts.
And here I'm going to bless you with another photo that I took of Lucy in the grocery cart. So can I tell you really quickly why I did that? I might have already told you off air, but what happened was we took Lucy, the puppy, to her first vet appointment yesterday, or I guess 2 days ago. And here I'm cleansing your eyes too with another photo of her on our shopping excursion. And I was really looking forward to that. She got her second round of vaccines and whatnot, but we also just asked the doc for some general advice on various things about raising a puppy. And I've been very uncertain about taking her, right? Oh my goodness, she's in the shopping cart as I'm pushing her around Lowe's. But I've been feeling like, okay, we got to get this girl out more. She's doing a really good job, or we're doing a really good job, I guess, of socializing her. A lot of people have been coming by and seeing Lucy. She's really good with people now. And I told you off air yesterday that I took her on her first little walk outside of our yard and was very careful with it. But I'm very, I'm hearing a lot of horror stories about like parvo, which is a very, very, very serious illness dogs can get before they're fully vaccinated. And everybody is kind of warning me about this. And so it's kind of like, well, is taking her for a walk, like what if she accidentally eats another dog's leavings or gets too close to them? Like, I'm just being very cautious, but I want to know, like, how cautious do we have to be, and how sheltered do we want to make her, and how worldly do we want to make her?
You don't want to raise a nerd.
I don't want to raise a nerd. I don't want to raise some dog that's scared to leave the yard. You know what I mean? So I said to the doctor, I'm like, well, like, how much, what can we expose her to at this point, basically? And she said, well, if you're on Blue Sky and you see a photo of a man bending over a dishwasher, do not.
She's got to learn sometime.
Do not expose her to that right away. Yeah. You got to like slowly reveal that one. She said,
first
show her
a
blurred version
bending over
first.
the dishwasher in jorts.
Then we get down to bike pants.
Yep. It's called habituation.
We start with Jankos.
Exposure theory.
We start with Jankos or those big white jeans.
And then the pants get smaller and tighter, and then they're shorts.
But anyway, I said, for example, Genevieve and I need to go to the pet store after this appointment to pick some things up. Can we take her into the pet store at this point? She's just getting her second round of shots literally as we're having this conversation. Is she safe enough to wander around the pet store with us? And she said, no, you can't take her to like a dog park or a place where other dogs, potentially unvaccinated, have been and have had accidents, because you just don't know if those folks have cleaned up the floor properly. Like here, you're in the vet's office. We're meticulous about cleaning up after the animals and everything. I said, oh, so don't take her to stores. She said, no, take her to stores. Keep her in the shopping cart. She said, you should take her to Home Depot. She said, let her meet men with beards and hats. And then she looked at me. She said, I guess you already got the beard.
So she'll bond with Genevieve.
Yeah, right. She said, but like just get her out in the world, but don't let her wander around these floors because she could, contract something. So she said, put her in the cart and push her around. And yesterday I had Lucy responsibility all day. Genevieve was at work and then had some after work functions to go to. So, we're not over babying her, but you do have to keep an eye on her at all times. It's been very validating to hear from friends who are just kind of like, how are you doing? Like, puppies are a lot. And I was like, yeah, yesterday was a good example of it. Like, I had to it took her, I'm sorry to go here, but it took her forever to go number 2 yesterday. So it's one of those things where you turn your back on her for 1 second, literally 1 second, and then you can turn around and it can be that she went on the floor, and we're really trying to stay on top of it and take her out like constantly. I probably spent like 3 hours yesterday just wandering around the backyard with her. I listened to Air. I felt like I needed to relax a little bit, so I listened to
Which album? Moon Safari?
Yeah, Moon Safari, exactly.
It's a good one.
I hadn't listened to that in like 20 years. And so I was like, I'm just out here, just be, just be out here with her and listen to some music and don't be in a rush to get back inside. And so anyway, that's what yesterday was like. But I think I was getting stir crazy. She might have been getting stir crazy. I'm not sure. I'm like, you know what? Let's go on a damn adventure. And so far, Lucy had never been in the car with just one person before. No, that's not true. She and Genevieve had dropped me off at the gym the other day, and then they drove around some. But we're trying to make sure that Lucy is very comfortable in the car. And so I'm like, let's go on a little ride. We'll go up to Lowe's, and I'll put you in a cart, and we'll see how this goes. So I grabbed her little pillow because I figured she might not be comfortable sitting on the bottom of a cart or even trying to stand on it, without something solid underneath her. So I grabbed a couple of her toys and this pillow that she sits on that Genevieve got for, and I just put her in the cart. And I wasn't even I knew that dogs were allowed in Home Depot, but I'm still learning, like, where can you take dogs and where can't you? So I put her in the cart. I'm like, is somebody in a blue vest at Lowe's going to tell me, hey, you can't have dogs in here? But that's not the case. I got a smile from an employee right away. I said, is this okay? And they're like, of course it's okay. Can I pet her? I said, of course. I met some woman who wanted to pet her in the tool aisle, and then I found out pretty quickly that lady was pretty much off her rocker. I mean, it was
may
fine.
have had parvo.
No, I mean, it was fine. Like, she came over and she was petting a little bit, and then she said, I used to work here. And I'm like, oh, cool. I'm like, good place to work? She's like, no, not in my experience. And then she went on for like 5 minutes about how terrible the manager is. And then I realized later, as I was just pushing Lucy around the cart, that she was just hanging out as if she still worked there. I'm not even 100% sure she ever did work there now in hindsight. But at one point I was looking for something. I'm looking for something to unlock these wire cutters I want. She's like, you look like you're looking for something. And I thought, you don't even work here anymore. I'm like, yeah, I need somebody to unlock that. She's like, that's Greg. And she starts looking around for Greg. I'm like, I'll find Greg. Anyway.
What an interesting move.
It was very interesting.
I mean, she knew Greg, though.
I think maybe she did work there at one
maybe
point.
She did work there at one point.
Yeah,
I couldn't pull out a name like Greg at random.
Oh, and also, she was the second person to tell me I was looking for Greg. So she definitely had the right person. And then eventually some guy with a beard came up and I said, are you Greg? He said, no, but I can help you. And then he helped me. And then the whole time we're just having this conversation about wire cutters.
Was the lady still there?
No, she's gone.
Okay.
Or we've walked away from her. But we're having this whole conversation about wire cutters, and he's telling me about I should get the Craftsman kind or whatever. And then at the end of our conversation, he just says to me, can I say hello to her? And I was like, oh, of course you can. I was so nervous the whole time about her comfort. At one point, she kind of jumped out of the cart, or didn't jump out of the cart, but showed a tendency to be nervous, and she kind of came towards me a little bit when I first put her in the cart in the parking lot. And so I was just trying to keep her calm, and she mostly was a very, very good girl. But then once we were on those very smooth floors of Lowe's, I'm just pushing her around this cart. She's like this little queen.
She was real passenger princess energy.
It was awesome. It was really great. Exactly.
Really, yeah.
So anyway, I'm sorry.
Great.
I'm all over the place. That story had no power in and no power out. But I was very. I think I'm even. I was just like kind of like, Genevieve isn't here. If anything goes wrong, like, I'm kind of like just taking this little puppy out on her own. I have to worry about. We did see some other dogs in there. I saw a woman that I know, the woman who runs Bleachers. You know that woman?
Yeah.
She was
the
there.
Sports bar down in Columbia City?
No, Bleachers. You're thinking
the pub. The pub in Greenwood.
In Greenwood, yes. You're thinking of another one.
What was that place called?
I liked that place.
I liked it too. Did it close down though eventually?
Oh, I hope not.
We used to watch the football games there occasionally, and I feel like the floors were made out of like an old gymnasium floor or something.
It might have been, yeah.
And it was that was a really cool sports bar.
I'm trying to remember what it was called.
But yeah, Bleachers is the one on Greenwood.
Rookies. That's the one. Yeah. But anyway, I saw her there, and she had this was kind of sad. I saw her. She was walking her dog, and I was like, oh, and she's like. She was like, oh, you little puppy. And I was like, yeah, she's not quite vaccinated yet, so, maybe keep the dogs apart. And she said, oh, okay. And I was like, oh, I know you. I'm like, and I didn't mention Bleachers, but I was just like, I haven't been in there in like a year or something. But I said, hey, it's baseball season. We'll swing by the bar soon or whatever. She's like, oh, great. Yeah, we're dog friendly. Then I looked down at her dog. I'm like, oh, well, how's your dog doing? But I'm like, that's not your pooch. And she said, no. She had this pooch that was like her shadow. She loved this dog. So, but I guess it was an older dog. I don't think anything specifically tragic happened, but I think the dog just passed away. And she was walking this very big but young dog, and she said, yeah. She said, right there in Lowe, she's just like, I've just been through it. She's like, it's just been really, really awful. But now this little guy is helping me through a little bit. I was like, oh, that's really sweet. So I just like, I don't know. You know me. I love running into neighbors or just neighborhood people as I think, is this a life hack, Luke? Is like me just taking Lucy from time to time on little, like, I was actually thinking today, I can't go back to the Lowe's because we were just there yesterday, but I have her all day. Can I take her to the Home Depot? And if so, what do I need to buy from the Home Depot? Or what's the cheapest thing? Can I just go in with her and ask somebody, what's the cheapest thing I can buy from the Home Depot after I wander around in here with Lucy for an hour?
Buy some of those yard bags, the paper bags that you throw like clippings in or something.
Oh yeah,
you'll probably need those this springtime.
Good call.
So just go get some of those. Yeah, no, it's so interesting because I think you and I don't know. I don't want to paint you with the same brush, but like sometimes I mildly dread having interactions with strangers, or at least you get in an elevator and it can be awkward, or just like on the one hand, I sometimes think, I don't know if I really want to like have a conversation with someone, but also having a dog, like when I'm walking Gigi sometimes, when I've had Gigi out here, and I've actually taken her to Home Depot as well because I needed something. There's something really disarming and it weirdly lowers the stakes in a way to talk to somebody who you don't know around the subject of a dog you have or a dog they have. It's some weird thing where it just it gives you a reason to talk to them. It's pleasant. It's fun. You know what I mean? It like really changes the interaction with a stranger, I think.
Well, it was interesting. I'm kind of bummed that I told that story in the way I told it because I feel like I made no sense when I was explaining my day with Lucy. But there's something that's going on with me that is a little bit hard to explain, but I will say that I'm relatively proud of myself. I am a nervous person. Did you know that, Luke? I tend to have some anxiety around certain things.
I've heard stories.
Yeah. I also have never cared for a dog before. An occasion I've dog sat, and those occasions have not usually gone super well for various reasons.
I don't blame you for that.
And I didn't grow up with dogs. I don't have a natural comfort around dogs. I've seen people come over and play with Bingo, and they're not cat people, and so they don't have like, I can be around a cat and I can tell when a cat is actually being leave me alone mode, or I'm just playing or whatever, and I'm just very, very comfortable around cats. And I've seen non-cat people not be comfortable around cats. Well, I'm like that around dogs, but the thing is, I've met really, really good dogs in my life, and I've met some ill-behaved dogs in my life as well, and I've met some very nervous dogs in my life, and I really don't want Lucy to be a nervous dog. One of the reasons it took me so long in my life to get a dog was because I never thought I'd be a good dog owner, because I thought I'd put too much anxiety into the dog, and I have met high anxiety dogs, and it doesn't seem good for anybody, to be honest with you. So while we're going through this, puppydom with Lucy, a brand new experience for me, I am really, really trying not to let anxiety ever overtake me, and just like in the relationship with Lucy, show that I'm not nervous about things, show that we go out and we do things, and and also in that I'm the alpha, which, Luke, I don't know if you know this about me, but that's not a role I'm super
uncharted territory, I believe is.
But you need to do it, And I gotta say,
good for you, man.
I feel, I feel like it's going well. Like, and part of it is like I'm learning these things too, but I'm learning them, but I need to do it with a certain amount of confidence around her. And so when I tell these stories, I don't want to sound like, oh, I'm super scared to go to Lowe's with my puppy, but it is a new experience for me. And Vives and I are going through this together, and we both care for her a lot. And there is a little bit of like, okay, is it okay for me to like put her in this cart, and if so, should I hang on to the leash, because she did sort of like at first look like maybe she's not comfortable in there, and could she jump out of the cart, but also I don't want to be like nervous the whole time, like that's not good for her. So that's why I'm sort of having trouble maybe telling some of these stories. Yesterday was a really good time for us. I get a cart. I didn't even kind of want to walk her across the parking lot. I'm like, I'll just put her in the cart, and it was true, pushing her in that cart across the bumpy pavement. She was kind of like, what are you doing to me? I'm like, just trust me, we have a plan here. And then once we got into the smooth, concrete of Lowe's, everything really calmed down. And then so this is me reacting to what you just said about the conversations you have. I was so concentrating on the task at hand and my relationship with Lucy, and making sure that Lucy's experience was good, but also I needed some wire cutters and some more plant spray and a carabiner. And so I'm also wandering around the store I don't know very well, looking for things and talking to her. And so I would kind of forget what we probably looked like, if that makes sense. You know what I look like, and now I'm pushing around this little puppy who's growing kind of big. Yeah, she's getting kind of big. She's like 16
An adorable
right
puppy on a pillow.
Yeah, and who's like looking around is probably like, what is going on? And so then so that's why I was kind of shocked when I'm having this conversation about pliers, and the guy finally just sort of says, as if like we're all ignoring the Lucy in the room, can I say hello to this dog that is between us right now? This adorable puppy that is looking up at me with puppy dog eyes. And then a couple of other times in the store, I had to remember that, like, oh yeah, other people are seeing this and they want to talk about Lucy and talk to Lucy as well. And it was really, really sweet, honestly. And, you know, I went in there thinking, is somebody going to tell me you can't bring dogs in here? And I left just thinking like, oh my God, all these people love Lucy. I love Lucy. I'm going to make a show about it.
Yeah, I think that's really cool, man. And not to be corny about it, but I think this is the thing that having a pet can do for us is like it. You know, you're kind of pushing yourself too a little bit. You know, like you're doing stuff that doesn't feel super duper comfortable because you know it's good for the dog. You know it's good for you. And sans Lucy, you would not have been. You might have gone to Home Depot yesterday, but it would have been a different experience, and you would not have been kind of pushing your comfort zone a little bit. So that's awesome, man. I think that's a really cool development for both of you.
Yeah, it really is.
What do you need the wire cutters for? That makes me nervous. Do you have somebody chained up somewhere? What's going on?
Well, no, you know, Lucy's toenails grow out.
Oh, dude, I'm so afraid of that. That is something I have always paid for. Becca cuts Bubbles' toenails and Holly's toenails.
Wow, the cats. Yeah, that's hard. Tough.
I'm like, and also with Rudy, I like, it's almost, you know how I get with cotton balls, if I tell you how like the kind of high frequency thing, it makes my hair stand up. If I think about clipping a dog's toenails and clipping it too far to where it hurts them, that is like a profoundly uncomfortable thing for me to consider.
Yes.
I'm so afraid of that.
Well, that's really relevant to our life right now, because when we first got Lucy, it might have even been the ride home. I think I told Genevieve, because Genevieve will clip our cat's nails as well, which is like, that's really tough. You got to kind of like, you have to push down a little bit and express their nails a little bit. And Genevieve's just kind of like, she's kind of fearless when it comes to animals. She does her research and she's just comfortable around them, even for the tough tasks like that. And I remember telling Genevieve very early on, if not day one, I said, I will do literally anything for this dog and you, except toenail cutting. I said, did I tell you this on the show? I said, I will get another job. I will get several other jobs. You will
earn the money.
I will earn the extra money, which, by the way,
pay a professional to do this.
Yes, I said, I will take whatever it takes, but I will not ever try to cut her nails, because you hear stories too, and it's not, people sometimes do make a mistake in cutting their dog's nails and they cut it back too far. It's a very common thing, and I hear that it's a very, very scary experience for everybody involved. And the dogs are okay, but it's scary. But Genevieve just this morning said, I gotta get Lucy's toenails. They're getting too long. And so I did help her a little bit. We were sitting on the couch together, and I held Lucy. And Genevieve kind of held Lucy. We both held her together, and Genevieve did get she got 4. How many nails does a dog have? 4 on the, I think 5 maybe. There's like on a paw, there's 4 that stick out the top and 1 out the bottom maybe. And she got the 4. On one paw, she got 4 front ones, and it felt like
great.
Huge,
well, now Lucy's going to be walking in a circle.
That's why she's been walking in a circle all day. Damn it.
Yeah, of course. Dang it.
Yeah, but I'm with you. I held her a little bit there, but that's as far as I will go. Like, again, like, and also let's not associate us with that trauma.
Right. Well, yeah, I used to take Bubbles to the sketchiest like pet grooming place, because it was the one place that you didn't need an appointment for this in Portland. And by the way, it reeked. I mean, the gals were nice enough, but it was a really down market pet grooming place. They only charged $5 to do the nails. Everywhere else, it was like $20 and you needed an appointment like 2 days out. But of course, you know me, I found the one kind of walk-in clinic for this. And again, because I was like, I am not getting anywhere near this cat's nails. It's very, very scary to me. So,
and is this the clinic where they also had like the bowl full of little dog condoms and other kind of prophylactic?
Yeah. There's a lot of posters around. No glove, no love. For some reason, they were just playing TLC the entire time.
We was hoping for some razzle-dazzle.
Razzle-dazzle.
That's right, man. Razzle-dazzle.
On your mark.
On your mark.
Get set.
Get set.
Now ready.
Ready. Go.
Everybody razzle dazzle.
All right, let's thank some dazzling donors. These are the folks who are donating money to TBTL, which supports the entire operation. This is how we can afford to buy passenger princess pillows for Lucy.
That's right.
And I could take Bubbles to have her nails trimmed and not do it myself. This is because we get paid to work here at TBTL by the listeners. It's 100% listener supported. And we're going to thank Lauren B. Castelli in Atlanta, Georgia. Lauren, long time friend of the show. I probably brought this up last year. I probably bring it up every year, but famously, Lauren, I believe, called into the Vanniversary show.
She did. One of the first. I know it was in the very first episode of that 24-hour
I can kind of picture it. I think we might have been in my driveway in Bellingham. Pulling in or out of the driveway. That's like that's the mental picture I have of talking to Lauren.
My memory as well, for leaving from Seattle, but then getting to Bellingham.
Yeah.
And I knew there was a connection here, and I looked it up to make sure. Lauren either does or did work for the Home Depot, speaking of my adventures with Lucy.
It's all connected, my friend.
Yeah.
That would also make sense, Lauren living in Atlanta. That's Home Depot HQ.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm going to start saying that as a sidekick. I did not know that.
Oh, what a good idea. Lauren says, okay, before I get started, can you please play the Cooking with Sean theme music as bed music for my dazzling donor message? Let me see. I think I can find this.
Okay,
probably.
I know I also have it too. My apologies.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, I'm sorry that I didn't read ahead. I should have had this ready to go.
I've got it right here. If you want me to play
if
it,
you can, I guess if you can do it, that would be easy.
Can you play the Cooking with Sean theme music as my bed music for the message? Sure. I can't get enough, even all these years later. Now that that's settled, let's get into it. Lauren's really kind of back producing the show here today.
Yeah, I'm into
Dig it. I am proud, not even less shamed, but capital P proud to be a nearly triple dazzler this year.
Whoa.
Lauren, golly, that's so generous of you, you sweetheart. TBTL is so fundamental to who I am at this point that I truly can't imagine my life without y'all. And given I also listen to, after these messages, Livewire, and to a lesser degree, Spotless.
I mean, you could have just left Spotless off.
Text me back, and SOD, that's Stack of Dimes. Lauren checking on the Stack of Dimes, JD and Thunder. I feel I spend more time with y'all each week than I do any other humans, which is wild. But I'm also so grateful for the hours you pour into creating content that sometimes makes me laugh, other times causes me to roll my eyes, or throw my phone, or cry. And more times than I care to admit gives me a reason to keep going when I want to give up in every sense. You're that important. Now answer me this. Should I visit the local cat rescue whose founder told me she runs it from her basement? And then parenthetically, Lauren writes, 100 plus cats, OMG.
If you have 100 plus cats in your basement, are you a rescue shelter? Or are you problematic?
Do we need to talk to some, I mean, I don't want to judge this person. That does sound like a lot of cats for your basement, but also I'm guessing that I'm gonna choose to be optimistic, Lauren. I think, in fact, you know what, Lauren, I'm gonna say yes, you should go visit. Because one of two things will happen. Either you'll get to see a bunch of cute cats, and that'll just be a fun day, and they'll be doing great. Or you'll see something that you need to alert the authorities about.
To report. Exactly.
We need you to get eyes on this one way or the other, Lauren. So the answer is yes. Now, the thing, though, is, I don't know, Lauren, what your current pet situation is, but you've got to be careful going to a cat rescue.
You do.
Because you may end up going home with a cat of some kind. I'm not going to do it, Andrew. This has been a lot of pet talk today, but there are a bunch of, like, I guess you just call them feral cats that live in my neighborhood. There's outdoor cats. And in fact, I just saw one running through my yard a minute ago. By the way, one of them clearly pooped in my driveway and then tried to bury it in the gravel, but the gravel was too difficult to move. So there was just like a cat poop and then all these claw marks in the gravel, which had done nothing to move the gravel.
Yeah, they tried.
But yeah, there's got to be like 10 cats that just live in the yards around here. And, of course, cats have kittens. And the other day I was driving down the road and this little black kitten popped its head up. And I was like, I got to adopt that. I'm not going to. Listen, if I'm going to get a cat, I need to bring Bubbles home. But I had an overwhelming compulsion to stop the car, get out, get the cat, and raise the cat as my own.
I'm sorry, how close to the actual home is this? Are you tempted? My question is, are you tempted to put like bowls of food out or anything and then sort of have them kind of as like outdoor cats that aren't technically yours but under your sort of purview?
You know, that wouldn't be the worst thing. That my neighbor, Gail, does that already. It's the weirdest thing. She feeds the birds in the middle of the road because she says that's the only place where the cats can't attack them. So when you're driving, so she feeds the cats too, right? So that's kind of the locus. She's like 3 doors up from me. She's about, a city block away from me up this road. And so she obviously feeds the cats because that's really where the cats tend to hang out, is around Gail's house. But she also feeds the birds, but she can't feed the birds in certain parts of her yard because the cats will kill the birds. So her solution is she feeds the birds in the middle of the road.
That's interesting because the cats are worried about the traffic. The birds
cats
can just
are more
fly out of the way.
Exactly. It actually seems to work, but it does mean that many times I'm driving down the road, I have to be very careful because there will just be a bunch of birds sitting in the middle of the road eating bird seed in their safe space away from the cats.
I just want to really quickly mark the fact that you said 3 doors up, and I thought that was kind of funny, so I might name the show 3 Doors Up, but it was such a passing reference. Because isn't there a band called 3 Doors Down?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's a good point.
The joke. If somebody's like 3 doors up, what is that even a reference to? You said Gail
Thank you
lives
for
3
flagging
doors
that.
up. It was very, very quick. It wasn't even a joke, but I wanted to just acknowledge that. Secondly, one other thing about Lauren's message here, and you can sort of hear the hesitation in my voice to bring this up, but I was thinking about you the other day in relation to a news story. Lauren says sometimes she cries with the show, and you and I are no strangers to crying on this program, right? It happens more and more as we get older and older.
Yes.
But of course, I think in your head, one of the more notable moments that you got pretty choked up was when Prince passed away, and we were talking about it on the show. And I don't bring that up to give you any negative feelings, and I hope it doesn't, but I was so blown away when, was it yesterday or the day before, I see all these posts on social media marking the 10th anniversary.
Whoa.
I was like, wait, is it really 10 years since that happened? 10 years we've been without Prince? That is, and I'm not trying to make you cry again, but that blows my mind. That's just old man talk, but like, my goodness, how that was, I swear that was like 3 months ago.
That's crazy. I remember where I was. I was doing the show from the Livewire offices in Portland. I was in the upper room because we rented out this office space in this old converted house on Mississippi in Portland. And I remember I was sitting up in the kind of conference room in this old house talking to you down the line about Prince and getting verklempt. I can't believe that was 10 years ago. That is just absolutely crazy. And just wild that we've been doing this show for so long, and we've been doing it with the help of people like Lauren. So, Lauren, thank you so much. Do report back on how the basement cat shelter is, please. I'm now very curious. And again, thank you for all of your support of TBTL over the years, and to a lesser extent, Spotless.
Just say Maestro.
Maestro.
Get set. Get set. Now ready. Ready. Go. Everybody rattle, daddle.
It's our friend Mark Dean in Edmonds, Washington.
Hey, Mark.
Beautiful Edmonds, Washington, a place that has it's become a big part of the show of late because it's where Lucy hails from. Mm-hmm. It's where, of course, that Arby's is. And where Rick Steves lives. The 3 reasons that we talk about Everett. Edmonds. Mark is in Edmonds, and Mark is keeping it short and sweet. He says, "Go Cougs!" Yes, it's me, Luke. Go Cougs!
Is this an ongoing thing that you and Mark have, or are you just?
Maybe it's slipping my mind. But Mark, honestly, it's your dime. I don't really have. I got to be honest with you. I, as a University of Washington Husky, well, first of all, I have a strange relationship with the idea of my alma mater, which is I'm glad that I went there. I guess I would say I'm sort of proud-ish of going to the University of Washington. I think it's cool that Genevieve works there. It's not core to my identity, and I also just don't have a dislike really for Washington State the way that you might. I do have a big problem with Oregon, which is not great because Becca is a graduate, as are all of her siblings, as are her parents, as everyone in their in their world, and so it comes up a lot. But yeah, no, Mark, I salute you. Go Cougs, indeed. I remember being a kid even and thinking like, hey, if Washington State gets into like the Rose Bowl, I remember thinking like, that's just kind of props to the state of Washington. People don't know the difference.
Yeah.
Like I would choose to take some of the reflective shine off of Cougar accomplishments because I thought the national audience doesn't know the difference between the University of Washington and Washington State. So when they see that the Cougs are in the Rose Bowl, I'm getting some credit for that as a Washington State as a Washington sports fan, and I'm going to accept that even though they are the cross-state rivals.
The halo effect. No, that's not what the halo effect is it?
I think that is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I think so. I think that the halo effect is that you get a little bit of sort of you get some goodwill because of being adjacent to something that's seen as kind of good. So, yeah. So go Cougs indeed,
Go
Mark.
Cougs, yes.
And thank you for supporting the show. We really do appreciate it. We could not do this without folks like you. So thank you.
Hello and welcome to Top Story.
Just a quick little mention of this top story related to the new owner of the Portland Trail Blazers, who bought the team for like a little over $4 billion, but his name is Tom Dundon. And he has already made a name for himself by basically like cutting a bunch of costs around the team, like couple of things. One, he didn't bring, so the two-way players are basically like the players that play on the G League team, but then they also contractually could sometimes be called up to the main NBA team. He didn't let them travel to the playoffs because they weren't going to play. He didn't let them go just kind of to be there and support the team and sit on the end of the bench in their street clothes, which is very typical of teams. He cut dramatically the staff that he brought because the Trailblazers were playing in San Antonio in the playoffs. He drastically cut the number of staff that get to go to the playoff game. And then the staff that did get to go, he created this hard and fast rule that everybody needed to make sure they were checked out of their hotel room by 12:30. So there were no late fees. There was no late checkout fees. So apparently the hotel in San Antonio was just full of all of the luggage of the Portland Trailblazers staff because they had to get out of their rooms before the team bus was ready to take them to wherever they were going. And he also has apparently openly questioned if the team needs to stay in five-star hotels. There's some kind of NBA rule about the accommodations of NBA teams. That's sort of like a minimum. You're not going to find them at the Holiday Inn. They get to stay in very nice hotels. He's basically questioned if that's necessary or not. He's apparently famous for telling people that if he sees a penny, he picks it up. That's his little kind of mythology around himself, that's his move. Now, this is the thing. I mean, first of all, the other thing that he talked about doing, I mentioned this to you off air yesterday, Andrew, is he, I think, wants to fire the radio play-by-play team, or, like he wants to basically just play on the radio next year. If you tune in to the Trailblazers radio broadcast, you would be hearing the TV broadcast. That would just be simulcast on the radio. He doesn't think you need two guys calling the radio version and then two guys calling the TV version. He thinks it can all be the same thing. And so that's just something he wants to do, which I think is unprecedented in the NBA. Now, my feelings around the NBA, which are skeptical because they let, well, that's the big problem, Yeah. I kneel for the flag and I stand for my country, or
yeah,
what
sure.
the hell? What were they saying?
I kneel for the cross, I stand for the flag, or something.
That's right. Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, don't kneel for the flag, right? Oh,
No,
God,
no.
heaven forbid you kneel during the anthem. But I have a very, very kind of antagonistic relationship with the idea of the NBA because I blame David Stern, who's I think he was no longer on the planet.
Oh, really?
But I don't know.
You go ahead. I'll look it up. Go ahead.
Check me on that one. But anyway, David Stern was the commissioner of the NBA when he allowed, in my opinion, the Sonics to leave Seattle and become the Oklahoma City Thunder, which was something that I think shouldn't have happened. And in fact, I think most people who follow the NBA are like, yeah, that was really a bum deal because Seattle loved the Sonics, and Howard Schultz sold them to a couple of charlatans from Oklahoma City who always planned to bring them to Oklahoma City and, in fact, were effective with that. There's some speculation that this guy, Tom Dundon, might actually already be trying to do that with the Blazers. Like he might want to try to get them out of Portland.
Oh,
and
my
so he's
God.
basically just doing a full-on like major league, right? Like where the owner buys the Cleveland, then called Indians, and tries to run them into the ground so that she can get permission to move them. He's just seems like, by the way,
the
Bill
A's.
Simmons.
Like the A's,
Exactly.
yeah.
Bill Simmons is the one who nicknamed him El Cheapo, which is pretty great. They're calling him Scrooge McDundon.
That's the one I was teasing at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
I love Scrooge McDundon.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to step on your
No,
reveal.
that's okay. I wanted to highlight it. That one made me giggle.
Now, this is the thing, though. Adam Silver is the current commissioner of the NBA / guy who is looking for the Baudelaire twins to lock them in a dungeon somewhere. He looks like a bad guy from basically like a what do you call that kind of young adult YA fiction?
Yeah.
He looks like the bad guy from a series of unfortunate events, Count Olaf. He's just like a weird looking dude, Adam Silver. And I don't have any patience for him personally because I think he was working for David Stern when the Sonics were allowed to move. So he's complicit in all this as far as I'm concerned. But he went on a podcast to defend this guy, Tom Dundon, calling him scrappy and a winner. And this was Adam Silver's argument for how Tom Dundon couldn't be El Cheapo. He said, well, he paid $4 billion for the team, so how could you call him cheap? And that is such a fundamental misunderstanding of what people are mad about, that it just perfectly checks out with this stupid league and its stupid, weird commissioner, that he thinks because Tom Dundon paid what he had to pay, because he paid the market value for this basketball team, that means he couldn't possibly be cheap. He paid $4 billion for the team that he's already now trying to nickel and dime. Another thing, when your team gets to the playoffs, it's very typical to pass out T-shirts to the attending crowd. It's just kind of this thing now. And sometimes the teams will actually do something really cool where the T-shirts are color coordinated. So if everyone puts the shirts on, it like does a message or it looks really cool. And it's just kind of a reward to the fan base for being fans, and it's just kind of a fun little perk of your team getting to the playoffs. Tom Dundon decided no T-shirts this year. He's just like cutting all of these corners that are just so dumb to me. Like I don't know. It's just like it doesn't add up to very much, and it's a tremendous amount of bad will with the fans. And anyway, it's a real bummer.
So I don't like to go in for making fun of people's looks for, well, obvious reasons. First of all, the whole glass houses kind of thing, but also
well, we saw that picture of you at the dishwasher.
Right, exactly. But I do love the classic Le Batard bit of the looks like game
Yes.
where listeners,
Yes.
and it's always in good humor, right? And like
they're not comparing them because of perceived unattractiveness. It's just someone that they tend to look like.
Exactly. Like I remember like one of my favorites of all time, and I'll mangle it because this was years ago, but it was like Pete Carroll looks like the man who's driving down the highway with his rag top down and his right hand on the back of the passenger seat headrest. And there's like something so specific. I mean, that's the vibe of it. It's just like so specific. And so I knew that there were great Adam Silver ones. And so I'm going to read to you a few of these that I found on a Le Batard subreddit. I will say that there are two really good ones. I'll save the best one for last. I'll save the best for last.
I don't know if, as Vanessa Williams once instructed us, just in case people don't know, Adam Silver is a very tall, very slender, very bald, very pale man.
Yes. In fact, I swear at one point somebody said he looks like a Q-tip. That wouldn't really make sense, though. No, I must be making that up because he's bald and Q-tips have fuzz. But it says Adam Silver looks like a fake scientist from a detergent commercial, sternly shaking his head in disapproval at the competition's stain-fighting power. That one is fantastic.
Great.
Adam Silver.
That's really good.
Let's hear. Adam Silver looks like a matchstick. Adam Silver looks like a bowling pin. Adam Silver looks like roll-on deodorant. And the best one is Adam Silver looks like Scott Van Pelt 15 seconds after opening the Ark of the Covenant.
I hope you were going to get to a Van Pelt reference. That's great. That's really good. Anyway, I don't have a ton to say about it other than it's just so dumb to me because it's like, again, first of all, the guy is a billionaire, or I don't know if he's a billionaire, but he cobbled together $4 billion. And like whatever money he's saving with this is so not worth the way that he's now perceived. What it really makes me wonder about and what it makes me sort of sad about is that they didn't run a stronger background check on this guy because the Trailblazers, like the Seattle Seahawks, were part of Paul Allen's estate. And so they had to be sold off by the terms of his will. So I don't know how instrumental Jody Allen, his sister, was. I know she was very instrumental with the Seahawks. I don't know how close of a hand she was keeping on the Trailblazers. But again, it was one of those things where eventually the Trailblazers had to be sold per his last will and testament. And I don't know if there was, I don't know how long the line was of people to buy the team at $4 billion. But it just seems like if let's just say there was maybe more than one ownership group that wanted, considering that, think about this money that's being generated by the sale of the team, it's not just going to some people who owned the team, right? It's going into Paul Allen's estate to be then distributed to charity and stuff, right? Presumably, or whatever. I don't know the exact terms, but that's the idea. Is he's going to give away all of his money and his assets, including these teams. But it's I feel like this was one scenario where they could have sold it for not as much money to a local ownership group in Portland. They sold it to a guy who lives in Texas and he already owns the Nashville Predators. He owns a hockey team already.
Okay.
So you could have called the hockey team and been off the record, low key, as the kids say, is this guy a good owner? And they would have said, he sucks. He makes us check out of the hotel at 12:30.
Yeah.
I wish they would have run a stronger background check on him. And considering that this money, again, is not just going back into the pockets of some wealthy group of owners, it would have been nice if they would have sold it maybe at a lower bid to a more, I don't know, Portland associated person, because what this really makes me think now is that this guy really does just want to he clearly does not care how he is perceived by the people in Portland. You know what I mean? If he did,
probably doesn't. I mean, well, who knows? A billionaire from Texas
doesn't sound like a Portland guy.
He probably doesn't even like the people that this team plays for.
It doesn't sound like his vibe, right? Portland. And so it's again, I guess it's not everybody has $4 billion. Maybe nobody in the Portland area, no group of people were able to put together the bid. But I almost feel I don't know, it should be the law or something that if you're going to sell a team, you have to sell it to an ownership group that's based in the city that the team is based in. I think I could get behind that rule.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Professional sports teams are already monopolistic to a degree that's probably illegal, right? You have a monopoly. Nobody else is allowed to start an NBA team unless the NBA owners allow for it. Therefore, their franchises are valuable because there's a scarcity around it, because you're in control of it. And so and pro teams are some of the only assets that historically have literally never gone down in value because of the monopolies. It seems like it wouldn't be the worst thing to say, okay, you get to own this appreciating asset that it again is worth so much more than you paid for it and will continue to rise in value. But the one stipulation or caveat is, when you get around to selling this asset, you've got to sell it to people in the town where the asset is based. I would totally support that rule.
And also, and we probably should have said this at the beginning of the show, we know what we're talking about here, but for full disclosure, we are, of course, the sponsors of the TBTL Junior Sluggers, or,
yes.
As they're known, the Jalapenos.
Jalapeno.
Oh, oops! I tried to play. I just went to Marsupial Gurgle and hit the first thing that said
Jalapeno.
There it is. You know what? I'll let you play the jalapeno drop. There's a reason you did not entrust me with that one, so I'll let you do that in the future. But we have a little bit of experience in this realm, and we let the kids
team owners.
We let the kids check out a late checkout. I mean, you're the king of late checkouts. You think that we're going to be withholding in that arena?
I've extended my Bonvoy benefits to all of the jalapenos, including Armani and Atlas and Fox.
That's right.
And all of them. Yeah. So that's you're right. We are team. We're basically a pro franchise ownership group ourselves. So we know what we're talking about here. But anyway, there was one other thing he did that was super El Cheapo that maybe I'll remember later and talk about tomorrow. But there was just something so rich about Scott Van Pelt after opening the Ark of the Covenant, describing this guy as scrappy. You cannot describe a guy who already owns one pro team, bought another team, and raised $4 billion to do so as scrappy.
Yeah.
That is not, that word does not work in the context of this guy.
A real boot heels kind of guy.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a right way to rock and a wrong way to roll. You can't just listen to your soul. Just remember that life is number one. You can be having so much fun. Just remember that life is much fun. You can be number one.
We had a close call today, Luke, as we prepare to say Happy Blur's Day to our listeners. I had gathered all of the Blur's Days. We have a decent showing today, but nothing overwhelming in quantity. And then I thought I was all done, and then I'm like, I should check the spam folder, Luke. And there was a Blur's Day message caught in the spam folder. And I saw that. I'm like, oh no, how long has it been in here? Did I check? Was this from several weeks ago? But no, it was actually for this week. And I'll start with that one. By the way, if you do want to wish somebody a happy Blur's Day, including yourself, by the way, give yourself a little shout out. Email me. My address is andrew@tbtl.net and put Blur's Day in the subject line and make sure it doesn't go to spam. Kyle says, wishing a very happy golden Blur's Day to my wonderful wife, Lisa. Hope you have a fantastic day.
My wife.
Happy Blur's Day, Lisa. And by the way, there's absolutely nothing spammy about that message at all. Like, why would Google be too aggressive on that? He did send me some information about some gentleman's pills I can try out as well. Maybe that's
enhancement.
Part of it. Yeah, exactly.
That's probably related.
Sorry about that, Lisa. I shouldn't be joking about that on your Blur's Day. Your golden Blur's Day at that. Jesse says, I want to give a special 9th Blur's Day message to my 5, Vincent. Vincent, we love you so much, and we're so lucky to have you in our lives. Keep doing well in school, being kind to others, and staying curious about the world around you. We hope you have an awesome birthday celebration at Tabletop Village, playing Pokemon with your friends. Love, Dad. That sounds great. You know what you got to do? Catch them all.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I read that, yeah. Watch a YouTube video about it. Happy Blur's Day, Luke, to our good friend Lynn. Lynn, this might be an inaugural Blur's Day message that Lynn sent in, and Lynn says, in 2020, I made grand plans to celebrate my golden Blur's Day with a live taping of Wait Wait in Chicago on my 40th birthday, but it got scuppered. I never heard that term before. Is that a soccer term, or is it
I think it's maybe nautical. Scuppered,
interesting. I
canceled
really like it.
Is typically, I think, how I think of scuppering.
I'm going to start using that. So you just gave me a gift on your Blur's Day. But anyway, Lynn says, I was going to go to this live taping of Wait Wait in Chicago on my 40th birthday, but it got scuppered due to waves at what happened in 2020. 6 years later, I'm finally in Chicago to be at a Wait Wait taping on my birthday.
Hey, awesome, Lynn.
Indeed. That really makes my day. I'm so glad that you wrote in, Lynn, and thanks for pulling that clip that I put you on the spot about yesterday.
Have fun.
Yeah, indeed. Who are the panelists this week? You probably don't know, do you?
I don't know this week, but in a few weeks it'll be me on the show that's going to air on May 23rd, which will be Bill Curtis's final episode as the announcer. So that's going to be it'll be a big show. It's going to be probably a trip down memory lane.
Speaks very well of how they think of you. I bet you they chose a special panel.
I would love to take credit for that, but I think it's unrelated. Because I think if they were going to pick, if they were going to pick a special panel, it would definitely be like Paula Poundstone, Mo Rocca, and
you don't think you're in the
maybe
mix?
Tom Bodette. I think I'm kind of B team.
You think that?
I mean, in my
Bodette-
heart, I'm
you think
A
Bod-
team.
yeah.
I'm B.A. Baracus.
Yeah, I know.
I'm on the A team.
bought
And if
that
you need,
van.
I have a fear of flying, but if you give me milk, I fall asleep. Do you remember that plot about B.A. Baracus?
I don't know if I do.
Yeah, one of the things was he was a real tough guy, but he was afraid of flying.
Oh, this is on the show. This isn't the actor.
On the A team.
Oh no, I didn't watch the show.
So yeah, on the A team, he was like the real tough guy, B.A. Baracus. But the quirk was he was nervous flyer, but for some reason milk knocked him out.
Really?
So they'd have to give him milk before they'd fly him somewhere, because that would just conk him out.
Maybe it was Milk of the Poppy.
Yes.
From the old Game of Thrones.
Happy Blur's Day, Lynn.
Did you just play something? Did I hear my voice saying milk in the background?
I don't think so. I was trying to, let's see. Hypnotized, drugged, disguised. 8 ways to get B.A. Baracus on an airplane. Let's see. I'm not going to play a compilation. So these are just all different ways, I guess, on the A-Team. Oh, this is 33 minutes. That's way too long. I'm not going to play this whole thing. But apparently they just had a bunch of different ways that they would trick him into getting on airplanes.
Steve says, happy birthday and happy... I was practicing this before, but I was not practicing the word practicing, unfortunately. Happy birthday and happy Koningsdag to Jen.
Oh,
do you know what Koningsdag is? It's like
I don't.
Maybe a Belgian holiday, I want to say. I was looking this up before. Koningsdag.
They would give B.A. Baracus a Koningsdag.
It's one of the things
to put him to sleep.
They used to give him away free on Spirit Airlines, right? Koningsdag is a national holiday in the Netherlands. Dutch. Yes, okay. It marks the birth of King Willem Alexander. Okay. So, happy birthday and Koningsdag to Jen. I can't believe it has been 11 years since the notorious Orange Feather Boa evening. I owe you a $3 Baby Grand Marnier shot, probably at least $4 now, adjusted for inflation, from Steve, a.k.a. The Sniffer.
Okay, sure.
This is where we just
go with that.
Swell the music.
There ain't nothing like soup.
The guy that I saw online accidentally earlier might be.
I bet. By the way, I deleted that from my computer, but that didn't, for whatever reason, delete it off of my phone, that photo you sent me. And so then you sent me the picture of Adam Silver and Scott Van Pelt.
Yeah, sure.
And I looked at my phone and was thoroughly unprepared to revisit the dishwasher photo. It really shocked me.
Re-traumatized. I'd like to point out once again, you saw the blurred version.
I know.
But they're both
stand by the
blurs.
contention it might be worse.
And finally, our pals,
Slapjacking.
Cheryl in Corvallis and family would like to wish Irene a very happy Golden Blurs Day. She is turning 13 today. How is this possible?
Come on.
Irene
Not
is
possible.
smart, sassy, and has a great sense of humor and is the kind of caring friend anyone is lucky to have. She's also an amazing self-taught artist and digital animator. We could use some help over here. Here's to another year of seeing all the awesomeness you have to show the world. Happy birthday, Irene. Indeed. Happy birthday, Irene.
I remember getting to visit with Irene and Julian.
Yeah.
All those years ago, back when we were on the van tour.
Yeah, the very first
not the
stop.
Vanniversary show, but exactly.
The first stop on that, right? We did it during the tail end of the pandemic, but we didn't want to be gathering people into enclosed spaces, so we went around in that little van, Delica, right, and did shows from people's driveways and Corvallis. Am I right? Was that the first stop? Yeah.
Yep, it was. Cheryl and Corvallis.
Right in their driveway.
Very fun.
That was really sweet. Fond. Luke, can I just say at the end of the show here, we have gone on so many little fun adventures. Really looking forward. We have another one coming up this summer for the TB Telethon. But honestly, like how many? Not the 24-hour van one, but the van one where we went around doing shows from the driveway.
No,
like,
Andrew, not the time that we drove through the Outback.
Yeah, not the time that we hitchhiked. Like it's nice to be able to just constantly kind of have these shared memories with you and the listeners.
Absolutely, yeah. We've had some really fun adventures, and we're really, really blessed to get to do this show and do all of the stuff around it. It's all thanks to the listeners, too. So thank you, everybody, for making this possible. All right, that's going to do it for today's episode, but we are going to be right back here tomorrow with more Imaginary Radio for all of you. A big Friday show, so please join us for that. In the meantime, have a great Thursday. Take care of yourselves, and please remember, no mountain too tall.
And good luck to all.
Power out.